EDNA. This is Greg Simpson, the founder of EDNA. It is 100% control of your own private DNA, which is one of the greatest personal properties that we have. So this project's really interesting. Come on up, Greg, and have a fun time.
Hi, well, thank you. Figure out this slide. My name is Greg Simpson. I'm the founder of EDNA, and EDNA is here to ensure your property, privacy, and access. Those are the three main things we're after. Let's just get to it. 2001, it cost $100 million to get your genome fully sequenced. $100 million. You basically had to pay this room full of scientists to sit there and clone your genetic material till they had mountains of it, because the accuracy of the data being read was in question and they had many failures. And in order to get that, it would take them months. Entered 2007, and it was down to $10 million. Pretty good deal. Today, this device, for about $700, can do it in a parking lot with anybody who can make a good cocktail. You don't need scientists, you need the machine. So that's how fast that technology has come along. Don't have time to get into how it works. See me after if you're curious. This is the cost per genome against Moore's Law. You think Moore's Law is a big deal, that it doubles every 18 months? Got nothing on a genome. We are very close to the future of a sub $100 genome, and that allows people without significant incomes to get involved, right? This yellow and green part are the expendable pieces of the technology in order to get a genome. That's going to accelerate it even further. That's the disposable part of the cost to actually produce a genome. So, any investors in the audience? Investors, people invest? All right, would you take this deal? People pay you to take ownership of their land, and it's virtual land, so you can copy it and sell it as many times as you want, but you never give up the actual rights. They're yours. And there's mineral rights in that land, and if they find gold on a copy that you sold, you get a piece. Who wants that deal? Yeah, so do these guys. 23andMe, Ancestry, everybody. There is a DNA grab on right now. Why? Well, here's why. The average resale price is $350 per genome. The average number of times your genome is going to get sold when you give it to these guys, with your permission, of course, now they own it, is 200 times. That's $70,000. That's why they don't need to charge you the full $700 to get the genome. They can give you a discount. Nice discount. Not a good deal for you. EDNA is about property rights, identity, privacy, and access to our own data. So let's get into this a little faster. EDNA is a DAC, organized as a DAC. We have a constitution like most DACs. This particular part of the constitution, these two experts talk about property and identity. Your DNA is your identity. It's not like your driver's license or your address. I live here, that's about your identity. DNA is the identity that will send you to prison for life when they find your identity at the crime scene. So how do they do that? Well, this is CODIS. This is the EOS database, and that's an older slide. There's actually 20 little places in your genome where you differ from everybody else, right? And if they match all 20, they match you. But the way EDNA is going to store your data to ensure your privacy is we're going to shatter it. We're going to break it into a billion little pieces, a million little pieces, and we're never going to let them count up in one section that you have 10 and he has 14. So it's secure storage, but it's in the clear. That's important. I'll tell you why in a minute. So the next part is access. This is a little difficult for some people to follow or understand why it is, but we only know about 1.5% of what's in our DNA. That's published science. Of that, the FDA allows us to, we have about 50,000 things that we know are pathogenic to us. They cause disease or capable of causing disease. The FDA allows 10 of those almost 50,000 to be told to you in a report. Doesn't make sense to me, but there's the proof right there from their own press release, March 6, 2018. They report 3 out of the 1,000 BRCAs that are basically breast cancer genes, okay? 1,000 known variants cause this problem. They let you know about 3. Well, I called the FDA. I'm like, what gives? Man, some of this stuff is scary. It hurts people. They need to know soon so they can take preventive action. The FDA says, well, they'll jump off bridges if they knew it all. And I wasn't buying it. I didn't agree with the answer. It didn't make any sense to me. That why put somebody's health at risk if knowing would save their life? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Follow the money. Those 10 variants all have drugs. I'm sure when there's an 11th drug, we'll get to know about the 11th variant. 75% of the FDA's funding is coming directly from big pharmaceutical fees. Big pharma essentially is who the FDA is supposed to be regulating. So it's like the policeman who is taking money from somebody in the community. 75% of his salary, actually. CRISPR. I just want to throw this out there because it's important and because I brought some. This is a vial of a human knockout for an MSTN gene. You put this in your body and you lose your MSTN gene. It basically stops doing things. These kids and that bull have no MSTN genes active, so bodies don't create myostatin. That is the future. You will hear more and more and more about CRISPR because it is a cure, not just a treatment. Who hates GMOs? Except this one's Emily. She's the best GMO on earth. She is a GMO. Her DNA was extracted. She was genetically modified to fight her cancer. She's alive today because that happened. You feel a little differently about GMOs? Maybe. So the EDNA project status, where we're at, our prototype's complete. We did an airdrop. By the way, big shout out to EOS airdrop dApps. They saved us. Please go see their website. They saved us. I wouldn't be on stage today without them. Yeah, you bet. Truly people with capes. Yeah, they're superheroes. So EDNA is trading on exchanges currently. That number, 1,200 in line to be sequenced. They each sent us an EDNA token to a wallet to get sequenced. That's wrong. That was Friday. Today there's 1,468. Yeah, right? We have a staking contract upgrade that's complete. People are staking, making 6% a week. I know it's ridiculous, but we really want to reward those early adopters of EDNA who hold on to our tokens. It won't go on forever. If you've got EDNAs, get them staked. Next up is lab funding, and we're working on that right now. We have a vehicle I think that some investors will really love. First 4,800 genomes on chain by April 2019, and the DAC open for research proposals same date. The investor idea that we're kicking around, and if there is anybody who invests heavily or is a VC or something of that nature, I'd really love to talk to you offline to get a feel of whether you like this plan or not. Essentially, the idea is you buy access for someone who doesn't have the funds to get online. We monetize their data, and the contract ensures you're paid back before they begin to earn profits off their own data. So you fund them to get online. You effectively act like the 23andMe. We'll let you name your price. Tell us what it's going to take. I think the right way to do this is an open market where you could lay out an offer and the takers will take it. Now, if that's not a good way to do it or a good approach from how you know what you know about investing, educate me. Tell me how to do it and I'll build it so that you can get in here and essentially be the 23andMe with a decent heart who's not going to take it all, right? That's it. Property, privacy, access. That's EDNA. Any questions from the audience? Do I have time? I think I went quick. I got any questions? One question? Question. Where's the DNA data stored? We're looking at IPFS, and essentially what we do is we fragment this data into very tiny pieces. We tag each piece with a unique identifier, and then that unique identifier goes to your wallet in the encrypted file so that your wallet's the only way to decrypt that data and reassemble the genes. Really good question. It's a nice system. You check it out. I'll show it to you on paper. It's in code even if you want to see that. Just the fact that once we get our data on chain, and I am out of time. He said one question, but okay. What excites me the most is those 49,000 genes that we're not allowed to know about, 49,998, right? If it's on chain, someone really smart, I'm not saying I'm going to do this because it's not really legal, is going to write code that can actually find genetic variants on chain, send the information to your wallet, and you will become informed. Last question. Man, that's up to humanity. They're going to wake up and they're going to say, look, my data is my data, my property is my property, my privacy is my privacy, or they're not. And unfortunately, I can sit here and shout and shout and shout, but humanity's got to wake up. You know, we're being taken advantage of, we're being abused and hurt, and it's time it stops. People are suffering for this. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Good stuff, man.